Okay, so here's the line I was speaking about. It says max level for drying, which would be, if you can look at it there, it's a little more than halfway up the drum. So when these clothes were put in the first time, that's about where they were. So that's about 7 kilos to that line. It's right above the latch. So what we're going to do is just dry this load. I found that about an hour and a half in time drying seems to be better. If I put it on, let's see, let me restart it. Okay, so I go to click it on to drying. 6 hours 11 minutes it's showing right now. That's with a spin, a rinse and a spin, which automatically defaults to that. I'm not too sure why. If we take that off, it's 5 hours 40 minutes. It does do a sensor drying, but it's still going to take quite some time. Iron dry would be 3 hours 21 minutes, again with the default rinse and spin. Take it off, it's 2.5. Small load, same thing, an hour 11. Take off the rinse and spin, 40 minutes. Do low temp, takes about 5 hours, but without the spin, and it's still 5 hours. I like to do it by time. I'm finding an hour and a half for 7 kilos is a pretty decent amount of time. That's what I do, and I think that's what's working actually the best. To dry it for an hour and a half for 7 kilos of mixed drying towels, etc. Doesn't seem to over dry it, and it's much quicker than waiting the 8 hours to dry everything else. So what we'll do is do the hour and a half, and we'll start it and listen to it, and that's the video for tonight. One thing that's odd about this specific dryer is that sometimes it does spray water at the very beginning of the drying cycle, which I was told by at the store just to expect it, but I've never had a washer dryer combo, but I guess that's typical of them to do that. I guess it just adds some humidity, a little more humidity and more water into it to prevent wrinkling, from what I read. So don't be alarmed if it does, give some water to the drum right before the dry cycle. So, but I think it's all dependent on actually the humidity inside the drum at the time. I think it actually can measure that because I've done it a few times, and sometimes it does it, sometimes it doesn't. So it seems that this was, freshly spun, and it's drying. And that's as loud as it gets. So I'll be quiet and I'll let you listen to it. And that's absolutely the loudest it gets for a dryer. I've never in my life heard a dryer so quiet. It's quite amazing. And from time to time you hear this noise, and this is the pump, which is draining the water from the condenser. Because there's no tank to empty, which is awesome. There's no lint filter to clean, which is awesome. And you don't have to clean the condenser unit ever. As in a normal condenser, let's say a previous Asko, here on the bottom underneath, we'd have to open it and actually take out the condenser and rinse it out every 3 to 6 months, depending on how much we used it, how if it got clogged. And if you didn't do that, it would really affect the efficiency and the drying times. So, but this does it all on its own. So it's basically a kind of a lazy machine. It just, for lazy people like me, it does everything for you. You don't do anything. Like I said, you can customize the different settings, or you can fool around with it and do what I do. I think the best wash I found is a super eco wash. with a hour-and-a-half dry time instead of the cover dry. And if you use 7 kilos, it's going to dry the whole load in an hour-and-a-half, plus the 2 hours for the wash. So you're looking at 3.5 hours from start to finish, and you're done. And you'll never have to come down here and check. You never have to come down here and move it to the next machine. You'll never have to empty out the water tank, and you'll never have to clean the lint filter. And you'll definitely never have an issue with noise for the dryer. It's absolutely just quiet. Show me a Miele or any other high-end dryer that is this quiet. They don't exist. Just more than impressed with this machine. I think really, really good choice. I'll be posting these videos, more videos. If you have any questions or any requests for specific videos, let me know, and I'll definitely do them. So just let me know, and again, any questions, write them down, and I can give you some tips, and like I said, there's a few shortcuts here and there that I've learned on it that aren't on the actual display, to do spin only, rinse only, leave a water soak, 3 different things. So, but more videos to come. I hope you enjoyed.